This is RyeOnHam here, and what I have for you today is no guns, just me sitting in front of a camera. I apologize. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about an update for the Remington R51. It has now been, as of about 20 minutes ago, 1 year since I sent my R51 back to Remington. I still have not gotten anything but a single letter. That apology basically said, we're sorry, we didn't do our job. Basically, we sent out a gun that sucked, and it was all this guy, whoever was writing the letter, his fault. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but that was the last correspondence I got of any kind: email, phone, or a letter from Remington, and I'm kind of upset. So, come October, of course, I wasn't enthusiastic about getting my gun in October. I knew it probably wasn't going to happen, and of course it didn't. So come November 1st, December 1st, January 1st, February 1st, March 1st, still nothing. And I'm a little bit upset about that they haven't said anything. There were people that actively sought out Remington during the SHOT Show 2015. What they were told was, yeah, we're still working on it. I think we've got all the bugs worked out. We might deliver it someday. Now, I have not called Remington since July, I believe, of maybe it was later in September or October of last year. And Remington at that time said that they were still working on the gun. They did not offer me what they've offered other people. Other people were offered either a refund, replacement with a new pistol, and that would come with 2 magazines and a Pelican case, or they were offered a Remington 1911 R1, which is retail-wise, it's about $150–200 more. Plus, it's a .45 caliber. I've already got a .45. I don't need another one. I've actually got a couple, but I really don't need another .45. And I wanted my original R51. I'm not going to get that, so I guess I will get the replacement. So I'm on hold, basically, for a replacement. So, what happened? If you read the internet, there's a few people out on the internet that have some blogs or have had correspondence with Remington. And Remington says that the issue was one of what they call tolerance stacking. Now, that means that they have tolerances that are built into their drawings, into their tooling. Each separate part has its own tolerances. And imagine you had 10 sheets of steel, and each sheet could be 1 to 2 millimeters thick. Well, that's a difference of 1 millimeter per sheet of steel. But if each was 1 millimeter, that would be 10 millimeters tall. If each was 2 millimeters, that would be 20 millimeters tall. And there's a huge difference when you start combining different tolerances together. And what ends up happening is that you get a pistol that doesn't work very well at all. But that is gun making 101. Remington has been making guns for 150 years, and they can't remake a gun that was designed over 100 years ago in the mid-teens by a guy named John Pedersen, who was an excellent designer. They're basically redesigning the system. They couldn't get it to work 100 years later. What have they forgotten how to do in the last 100 years? I'm not going to harp on that too much. I want them to get it right. I want them to do basically what their job is. So the new pistol is supposed to correct all of the tolerance issues. They've also got some additions, and I'll link some of these things down in the doobly-doo, and you can go through and read the websites where I found them from. They're going to put a set screw on the sights, front sight included, so that they don't drift out. Well, that was a problem that the Military Arms channel had. I didn't have, mine were solid. I didn't have a problem with mine, but again, that's that tolerance stacking thing. So my tolerances were stacked in the right direction, I guess. But the solution isn't a set screw. The solution is to get your damn tolerances right so that your sight will actually fit in the dovetail. Whatever. Apparently they've redesigned the magazine base plate. Now if you go back and you watch my videos, come back in an hour or two when you're done, but if you go back and you watch my videos, I complain about the magazine base plate being floppy. And what I'll do is while I'm talking here, I'll insert video of the floppy magazine plate so you could see where I was having the problem. Well, apparently they've redesigned the floor plate so that it's no longer flush, and I'm guessing that they solved the floppiness problem with it. I'm hoping. But it also sticks out a little further in front, and there'll be a picture of it. I should be able to post a picture to the video. And this picture is by Nathaniel Fitch, I believe. And there's also an article down below that you can go to where it shows a couple of pictures of this. One thing also on my pistol that I noticed was that the pins, right from the factory, were already moving out. I mean, they were already coming out of the gun. Well, I've seen pictures of the fixed R51s, and I've seen pictures of the original R51 prior to them shipping them out. And the pins on those were all splined. Now, if you don't know what a splined pin is, it's basically a regular pin that's had little grooves cut in one end of it so that when you drive it in, the grooves engage with the hole and they hold it on tight. That is not a good solution to the problem. A good solution would be tighter tolerances or maybe a spring that in a groove that holds the pin in place. Instead, Remington has chosen to solve the problem the old-fashioned way. And by old-fashioned, I mean, 100 years ago, what they used to do is put splines on pins and drive the pin in, and the pin would stay put forever. You could take it out, but eventually you're going to wear out the hole taking it out and putting it back in. It's not meant to be regularly disassembled. It's a solution. I don't know if it's a good solution. It's not the solution I would have chosen. Remington also said that they've smoothed out the internals. Now, what that means, I guess, is that when you pull the slide back, you don't feel like you're like the gun's already full of gravel when it's brand new. Whatever that means. They've also given the trigger a positive reset, so that when you let the trigger go, you can hear a click and you can feel it reset. On target pistols and perhaps pistols like the Glock that have a positive reset, that can be a mental issue, and I think that's mostly what it is. But they fixed it. They've also, like I said, given you a new Pelican case and 2 new magazines, so that's, I guess, okay. I don't think it makes up for them renting my gun for a year. I should charge them to rent my gun for a year. Questions. Did they fix the slide lock? I don't know. I haven't seen it mentioned. I searched specifically to see if the slide lock being able to be installed wrong, if that was fixed. I assume it is, because that was a huge issue with several people. Did they fix the magazine release? I've seen several videos where people are shooting the gun without touching the magazine release, and the magazine's just popping right out. I don't know what the issue was with that, but did they fix it? And did they fix the out-of-battery discharge issue? I would assume that if they're smoothing everything out, and if they're clearing up the tolerance stacking issues or whatever they want to call it, I would assume that they fixed the out-of-battery discharge, the reason I had to send mine back. I'd assume they fixed that issue as well. Well, I hope it doesn't happen again, so we'll see, I guess. Here's what I'm guessing at. I was told, and I can only, it's on the internet. I was told that the designer worked for AAC, a suppressor company, and he left the company before the R51 was introduced, and he was the brains behind the redesign or the new design using the Pedersen lock. And he left, and the people that were also there with him did not know enough about how to build the pistol. He was apparently the brains behind it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that happened, but it's Remington. They're a gun builder. That's their core competency, apparently. They're a huge name. They should have been able to build it without him, without anybody. Once they had the original design and the original drawings, they build pistols, they build rifles, they build shotguns. It's what they do. Even if that did happen, I don't buy it as an excuse. Apparently the engineers who were trying to put it together after this guy, whoever he was, left. Apparently the engineers objected to the introduction. Apparently they said, hey, this thing isn't ready, we don't want it introduced. So with them objecting to the introduction, what else are you going to do? Are you going to just put out the pistol? So that's what they did. Even though the engineer said no, they said whoever the pencil pushers were, or bean counters were that were smarter, said, hey, we want an R51, give it to us, we don't care. So we got the R51 in a unfinished state. I don't even know if they've moved to Alabama yet. I'm guessing. Somebody tell me if they know, if they have inside information, PM me. I'll put it out there. So here's my take on it. Were the people who gave the pistol good reviews lying? And that's a very pointed question, and there were a lot of people that gave the gun good reviews. I am not going to list them here, but if you do a search for R51 magazine articles, there were at least 4. And if you do a search for video reviews on the R51, there were a couple. And these are big name people, and they were given pistols by Remington, and they were given ammunition by Remington, and they were all wined and dined and invited out to Arizona to review these guns, and they gave good reviews. So were they given polished pistols? Were they given, tool room samples, or were they given actual production line pistols? My guess is that they were not given the same pistol I was, and I wasn't able to get more than 14 rounds out of it before I had one almost explode on me. So I did not get one of the wonderful pistols that were given glowing reviews. I do not trust anybody's review when they are given a pistol, because that pistol can be polished, that pistol can be tested, and that is not the same pistol that they are giving to the public. What I do trust are people at ranges, people who buy the guns, and then almost invariably with the R51 were disappointed in what they got, including myself. So were the reviewers liars? No, they were just doing their job. You should not trust them. You should go out and find information from other sources, because on this one and on a lot of them, they were wrong. I remember the Colt All-American pistol, the Colt Model 2000. I remember reading glowing reviews about that, and then I picked one up, and it was a pile of crap. It was a horrible pistol. Not that many, if any, of those reviewers have recanted their story. If the New York Times prints a story saying Obama is going to ban, Volkswagens in America, then tomorrow, when they find out that that is an incorrect statement, they have to publish a retraction. None of these gun reviewers published a retraction that I saw. If there is one, link it down in the video, and I'll put it in the doobly-doo, and everybody will be happy. But I did not see any. I saw all the reviews. I read all the reviews, glowing reviews. This thing is the best thing since sliced bread, low bore access, shoots soft, and those things are true when I can get 3 rounds through the pistol without a malfunction or a out of battery discharge. So what they were saying to me was misrepresenting the pistol. I need a retraction. Remington and Freedom Group, who is to blame? Well, the buck stops at the corporation. Remington is 100% to blame, and I'll accept their apology from that point of view. They came out and said they were 100% to blame. Freedom Group, did Freedom Group push them? I don't know. I'm not privy to any of that information. I'm sorry. Should we boycott Remington or stop buying their products? They got 1911s. They got Model 700s. Well, they've had those for, 50 or 60 years. The Model 870 that was designed 65 years ago or more. They cheapened the Model 700. They cheapened the Model 870. So their 2 bread and butter products are going further down the line to where they're the same quality as you used to get from Harrington and Richardson, for instance. I think they even bought Harrington and Richardson. What about the Model 700 with the triggers? I do not think there is anything wrong with the original trigger on the Model 700. And I say that. I've got a 300 Winchester Magnum. an old, I think it was 1969, I think that was the date on mine, I'll have to check again. But I've got a Remington Model 700 and 300 Winchester Magnum that has been solid for me. Never had a problem with the trigger. And I don't think other people have problems with the triggers either. I think that they got, whoever it was, MSNBC or whoever got after them for having bad triggers. I think that was a witch hunt. I think they were trying to take down the big guy on the block, and they were doing it by basically pulling out a bunch of patsies, and they were saying bad things about Remington. I do like older Remingtons. I'm not a fan of current guns. I do like the R51 design. I hope they fix it, and let's move on from there. And that's what I hope for. I hope to get a new gun. I hope they send me a new model R51. It works. I want to go. I want to shoot it. I'm real excited. I think that my excitement for the first gun has not waned. Even though they've had problems, the design was solid. I think they were onto something. And if they do produce it again, I think that that will be a testament to the fact that it was a decent design, poor execution. What I hope to get is 4 good magazines. I've got one poor magazine and one broken magazine. I've got another video where I show you that one split down the back. So I hope to send those back, or at least get new floor plates for them to modernize them to the new style, because I hated the old style floor plate. And again, I should have posted that earlier in the video. A new Pelican case, yay! But what I really want is another apology, because Remington screwed me, and they screwed hundreds, thousands, I don't know how many guns they actually got out, but I want to thank Nathaniel Fitch. You have no idea who I am, but I read your article. It was good. I like your blog, so there's your plug. And I posted one of your pictures here. If you don't like that, then I apologize. But I am directing people to your work, so hopefully that'll help. Is there any hope? If they start production in April, they say they're going to get the new guns to the original alpha/beta testers, like myself, before they release them to the general public. So you will see a review. I promise to the internet world that as soon as I can possibly get a review out, you'll have a review. I'll do an initial review if I get my gun, and then I'll do a follow-up review, a deeper dive with shooting and all that kind of stuff. I know it's not what you want. I want my R51 too. I apologize if anybody was expecting reviews sooner or updates sooner. I didn't have them either, so we're all in the same boat with that one. I thank you for subscribing, if you subscribe for the R51 information. If not, you're probably wondering, this is a very long and boring video for you. So there you go. But the title should have told you what it was. This is RyeOnHam. Goodbye.